Hello everyone. Happy Ramadan to everyone, to all my students and teachers. Hello everyone. I hope you guys are not busy. Alright, so today I'm going to talk about, first of all, before we before we start with the class or this session, let's say, first of all, I would like to greet everyone a very happy Ramadan, to all the students, all the teachers who are watching me at the moment, and it's a really blessed month. So hope like you all just enjoy this this month with your family and everyone, yes, beloved ones, obviously. And today's topic is going to be about the golden rules of English grammar, plus how to speak fluent English, how to be fluent in English language. I'm just going to talk generally about how to be fluent in any language. It's not just necessarily like English, or let's say mainly English. Let's say that if you want to learn any language in this world, what are the steps you have to go through? Let's say people who are in institutions, well, they come to the academy and they think that, oh, fine, we're going to enter the academy, that means that we're going to be so fluent in English in a day and night. This is wrong. Well, guys, you need to really work hard on that. Plus, I always tell my students, or let's say not just students, like everyone in general, whoever I meet, I like to give advices to, I just tell them, like, practice is the key. As much you practice, you learn more and more, okay? So practice is the main thing. If you learn, let's say if you just memorize lots of words and you don't practice them, it's useless. So today's topic is really interesting, and I hope students do interact in this, I like my students to interact, or let's say generally students interact in these channels, or let's say like when I'm just giving class, like last time I gave a class and students were interacting, so it was it really inspired me, or let's say it pushed me also, so it was kind of sort of support, so yeah. Iyad is saying happy Ramadan to you too. Thank you, Iyad. Well, anyway, so I'm gonna come to the topic. Let's get back to the topic, which is how to be fluent in language. Well, as a native, well, we just speak English, but we mainly don't focus on grammar. I tell, luckily, those students who actually learn the language, they are in more benefit. I tell you how. Because they learn grammar, right? I mean, they learn the language in a proper way. Let's say not just, they cover the whole skills, they cover the whole skills: writing, reading, listening, and speaking. So basically they go through all these four skills, right? And they learn it properly, so when they come to speak English, they speak it correctly. What I mean, like, correctly, it means you speak it correctly. I mean, grammatically correct. It is usually grammatically correct. Why? Because you learn grammar and you apply that grammar in your speaking, which is perfect. And this is why, I mean, it's really good if you learn the language in that way, and you speak it with correct grammar. You're perfect. For me, like, accent is not an essential part. I mean, it's not necessary as much as you speak correctly. So if you want to speak correctly, you need to first you need to study the grammar. You need to learn lots of words. You should read a lot. If you want to start from small novels, or let's say short stories if you're in a beginner levels. So you need to do those things. Well, this is one of the things I wanted to tell you, that maybe it can help out in improving your language or whatsoever. What else? Okay, so I'm gonna just tell you in general that we're gonna come like to grammar parts. We're gonna talk about grammar as well. So if you really want to learn English in a correct way and speak English fluently with with the correct grammar, then you have to go through like these let's say tips. Maybe like it's just it's a good tips. Maybe it can help you, or it can help anyone in who wants to learn any language. So first of all, like in your perspective, like when you want to learn a language, what would be the first step? We usually learn, we started learning the basics, right? We start learning the basics. If we want to learn any language, we start learning the basics. Well, if you want to learn the basics, you go through the alphabets and then the words, and like learning more words, and then but it's not enough. What we have to do, or what we have to know, is how to make how to make sentences, like how to make correct sentences, not just learning words and oh fine, I've learned words, that means that I can speak really good English. No, that's not right. So the thing is that you have to learn grammar, right? Because if you should know how we make questions, how we make sentences, declarative sentences, how we make negative sentences, right? So this way you will learn more and more. Okay, now grammar is really essential part, and people I've seen here in Jordan especially, like lots of people do mistakes grammatically, and if they come to speak, they sometimes their sentences, like let's say they have lack of grammar in their sentences. How, for example, they're just using, let's say, they miss with this, they miss with verb to be, like there's no verb to be in the sentences, let's say, or helping verb in general. So they miss that. Like for example, where you live, which is not correct. You should say where do you live, right? But obviously I understand the question. You're asking me that where I live, but it's like correct, like grammatically it's incorrect to say that. Okay, so you should say where do you live. So there is verb to do which is missing, right? So in English it's very important to know these like three, let's say we can call them elements or whatsoever: verb to be, verb to do, and verb to have. These are very important. If you know how to use them, or let's say how to command them, that means like you are doing well. Okay, or you can use them in a proper way. So the first, as I've told you, the first part is as always, like you have to start with like your sentence should be always started with the subject, and then you need to use, you need to have a verb and then an object, right? This is how we make our sentence. This is the correct sentence, right? So this is a sentence basically: subject, verb, and object. This is how we make our sentence, right? What is a subject? It's either a noun or a pronoun, right? It's either a noun or a pronoun. What is a pronoun? A pronoun is it's actually a word, let's say, or yes, it's a word. We use it instead of the noun. For example, if I don't want to say Sarah is, let's say Sarah is beautiful, I can say, I don't want to say Sarah, I don't want to mention Sarah. So what is the pronoun relates to Sarah? That would be she, right? She is beautiful. Hello Malek, how are you? I hope you're doing well. Happy Ramadan. Yeah. So this is also like one of this is how we make our sentence. So you need to know when to use which pronoun. For example, we have subject pronouns and object pronouns. Subject pronouns, they always come in subject, right? And they always replace subject. And object pronoun, they always replace object. Okay, so we should not mix them up, because usually people do mix them up. Okay, anyhow, so these are the basics. Let's say I'm just teaching you the basics for today. We're gonna go over the basics. We're not going to go so deep this class. Next time or next session, let's say we're gonna talk or discuss about the, let's say tenses. We're going to go more into details with these tenses. Okay, so yeah, subject, then verb, and object. Now we've talked about subject is either a noun or a pronoun, right? Let's come to the next part, which is a verb, right? Okay, so how many tenses do we have in English? We have, I think, 3 tenses, right? We have 3 tenses, which is present, past, and we have verb 3. And also we have future tense, right? Now for verb to be, let's say for verb to be, if we're talking about verb to be, it is, am, are, right? And the past form is was and were, and the third form is what is it, like it's been, right? And also we have being, right? But we like these are actually, we're gonna have them like with different users like later on. You'll get to know them better. So, and future, we say will be, right? That's going to be future. And shall be, this is also like we use it for future tense. Yeah, in verb to do, let's say verb to do is like we use it with verbs, right? So it is either it's let's say do and does, and the past form is did, and the third form is done, and that's it. Yeah. And for future we say will do, right? Or let's say will. Okay, this is future. Future we always use will or going to. This is for sure, okay? If you want to make a sentence in future, you always have to use going to or will, all right? And later on we will also discuss what's the difference between going to and well. When do we use well and when do we use going to? So yeah, this is also like one of the topic we can discuss later on. What else? And then we have verb to have, and verb to have we use it first, like obviously in present perfect tense, or let's say past perfect tense, and it has different uses as well. So this is in general. This is how you should make a sentence, a complete, it gives you a complete thought, as I've told you like last time. So it's subject, then verb, and object. Okay? Yes. So this is it so far. Let's come back to, or let's get back to our which is we were talking about pronouns, right? So let's talk about pronouns a little bit. Now the pronouns, we have too many pronouns. Like we have, I think 1, 2, 3, 4 or 5 types of pronouns. Okay. First type is subject pronoun, and they always come in a subject, right? And second form is, or second type is, like let's say it's the object pronoun, and they always replace in a object. Yeah. For the subject pronoun we always say what are the subject pronouns? He, she, it, they, we, you, right? Yes. Now for the subject pronoun, they are like, there's we divide them into 3 parts basically. First part is, let's say the first part is the first person. Yeah, it's I or we. Okay, this is the first person. All right. Second person is you. Okay, and the third person, which is the third party or third person, is basically he, she, it, and they. All right, these are like, this is how we divide them in English. Okay. What else? So after these pronouns, or after the subject, it's either a subject or a pronoun, right? We said there should be a verb. Okay, it's either a helping verb or a main verb. Main verb is like, is an action. Okay, it's an action like play, dance, speak, swim, and so on and so forth. Okay, and then we have the subject, which is the complement. Okay, for example, when I say I go shopping every day, so I is the subject, play is the verb, and go shopping every day, that's the complement, and it's an object. Okay. Let's come to the let's talk about the object pronouns. Now object pronouns, we use them, or they replace object. Okay, not a subject. For example, when we say I met Sarah yesterday. So Sarah is basically, now I is the subject, met is the verb, and Sarah is basically an object, right? And what is the pronoun which relates to Sarah? Sarah is like, okay, we're supposed to know the you know, like the object pronouns, which is what are the subject pronoun? Her, him, us, you, it is the same, yeah? So we need to know these object pronouns, okay? Again, if it's he, then it's him. Object pronoun is him. If it's she, then this object pronoun is her. If it's it's the same, all right? It's it, we say, okay? What else? If it's they, then we say them, all right? So it's them, they, them. What else? If it's our, then it's us, okay? US, us, all right? So for example, if I'm talking about Sarah, like I met Sarah, I can say I met her, okay? I met her. I don't say I met she. No, it doesn't make any sense, all right? Because she, it comes only in subject. That replaces in subject, okay? That's it. So you need to make sure that you're using these pronouns properly, all right? Now let's come to this. Let's talk about the possessive pronouns and possessive adjectives and possessive pronouns. Okay, what is the difference between the possessive adjectives and pronouns? Like I'm gonna explain them in details. Now, for the possessive adjectives, we use them to talk about something, someone, or someone owns something. Okay, for example, or this something, you know, relates to someone, or you can say that. Okay, for example, it's her car. Okay, so this car belongs to her. Okay, so what are the now I'm gonna mention them all, like all the you know, possessive adjectives. It's if it's he, then it's one second. If it's he, so it's his, all right? If it's she, then it's her. If it's it, so it's if it's it, yes, it's its, okay? So it goes like it's, okay? If it's they, then it's their. If it's you, then it's your, okay? So basically, you need to memorize also the object pronouns, possessive adjectives, Okay, we're done with possessive, with the object pronouns, I'm sorry. So possessive objects. What is the object pronoun of us? What is the object pronoun of us? It's we, us. Us is the object pronoun. It's we is the subject and us is the pronoun. It's the object pronoun. Okay? Yes. So this question, basically, who asked this question? They asked us this question, that what is the object pronoun of us? Us is actually an object pronoun. Yeah? And it's for we. Okay? We, us. For example, come with us. You come with us. We don't say you come with we. No, you come with us. All right, so us here is an object pronoun. All right, now we're gonna talk also about, we were talking about what? We were talking about this possessive adjectives and possessive pronouns. So possessive adjectives are basically adjectives, like for example, we say if it's he, his, she, her, it's, they, their, we, our. See, it's different here. It's not us, it's our, okay? And then they, it's their, and so on and so forth, okay? I mean, you need to memorize them, yeah? So anyhow, we would say, and what comes, okay, what comes after a possessive adjective? There should be what? A noun, okay? There should be a noun. For example, when I say his car, which means that this car relates to him, okay? Or his car, all right? What else? We say my book, my paper. So this is basically my paper, yeah? Sorry. Okay, my paper. My classroom, let's say. Okay, the noun, it doesn't matter. It could be, it can be, you know, singular, and it can be plural. Okay, so it doesn't matter. What else? We can say this room, or no, this is my room, or this is his room, this is her room, and so on and so forth. Okay. All right. So this is it. This is all about possessive adjectives. Now, what is possessive pronoun? Now, possessive pronoun has the same concept. It talks about belongings, but it comes without a noun. Okay, it comes without a noun. For example, I would say here, this is my paper. Okay, so the paper, this, I mean, because I have mentioned the noun, so I have to use the possessive adjectives. Okay, so this is my paper. I can say this is mine. Okay, so mine is possessive pronoun. It's not a possessive adjective, it is a possessive pronoun which comes without nouns. Okay, we just like, okay, why they come without noun, or let's say they come without noun because the speaker or the listener, maybe they know what are we talking about, yeah, or what is the noun you're talking about, what is the possessive thing you're talking about. So in that case, you don't have to use, let's say, a noun. Okay, yes. So here we have just mentioned two types of possessive pronouns, possessive adjectives and possessive pronouns. One comes with a noun and the other one comes without a noun. Okay. What else? Now these were like three types. Now we've learned like four types of pronouns. Now we have reflexive pronouns as well. Okay, reflexive pronoun. Now reflexive pronoun, they reflect to the doer. Okay, I mean the action. For example, let's say I am, or yeah, I washed the dishes by myself. So they usually come with myself, by himself, by herself, by itself, and so on and so forth. Okay, so these are reflexive pronoun. We call them reflexive pronoun. They reflects the subject, the person who does this action. Okay, and why we use this reflexive pronoun? To emphasize, you know, that this action happened by this person. Okay, so for example, I'm just gonna give like few examples. Let's say I have done my homework by myself. I have done my homework by myself. I, by myself. Okay. Let's say my mother cooked food by herself. Okay, so because my mother is the third person, like she, so I would say herself. Okay. Yes. Okay. What else? We have like, if you'd like to share any sentences and you want me to read them loudly, it's up to you guys. Like you can write in a comment any sentence which can help the topic or whatsoever. So you can write, okay? And I'm gonna read them loudly. I'm gonna read all the sentences loudly, no problem. All right. So these were the pronouns, and let's come now. I hope like you can use them now properly, or let's just go when after the session. What I want you to do is like you need to practice them, try to memorize them, try to say them, try to use them in a with your friends or with your you know, in whatever you want. So at least you practice them, because these pronouns don't come unless you practice. You know, practice is the key, guys. So practice is essential. Okay. So these were like the four types of pronouns so far. Now we're gonna talk about what? We're gonna talk about verbs. Now it's very important to know the verbs, okay? After subject, we have verb. These verbs, we have two types of verbs, let's say. Oh, 1 second. Oday says, I enjoyed myself. What did you enjoy yourself? The quarantine? Did you enjoy the quarantine yourself? If you're talking about the quarantine, then yes, I enjoyed. You have to say something like I've enjoyed something by myself. Like I enjoyed, let's say, my iftar myself. I have enjoyed watching TV myself. You know, there should be something like this. This sentence is missing somehow. Okay, so let's get back to our topic, which was verbs. And let's talk about verbs. Now we have two types of verbs, which is first type is like I usually divide them into two types, which is first type is helping verbs and second type is the main action verbs. Okay, or let's say main verbs or action verbs. For the helping verbs, we have two types of verbs, obviously auxiliary verbs, and we have helping verbs, okay, which is a models. We call them models, like can, could, shall, should, must, obviously, have to, ought to. These are we call them helping verbs. These are actually helping verbs. And also we have these I enjoyed day. Okay, Murad is saying I enjoyed day. All right, but what did, like, still missing? Sentence is missing. I need a full sentence so I can understand. You can say I enjoyed my day myself, by myself. I enjoyed my day by myself. This could be one of the like correct sentence, or make sense maybe, which makes sense. Yeah. Anyhow, let's get back to verbs again. Yeah, so we were talking about these auxiliary verbs. Now these auxiliary verbs are basically, Oday is asking, do you think that it is ungrammatical? Your sentence was ungrammatical. One second. Your sentence was I enjoyed myself. Grammatically it's correct, but the meaning is missing. The meaning is missing. Like, I enjoyed what? Myself. If you ask this question, I enjoyed something, okay, which there should be something, by myself, and there should be by, you know, this by should come with myself, himself, itself, and so on and so forth, okay, by myself, by himself, by herself, and so on, okay. Now I have, I think, another question somebody's asking. One second. I enjoyed your class by myself. Thank you. Okay. It is grammatical. Okay. I am fully sure. Yeah, I've told you it's grammatically correct. I didn't say anything, like, I didn't say that it's wrong, but it's missing, I guess. I enjoyed myself. I enjoyed myself. Oh, okay. You enjoyed yourself. Fine. All right. I'm fully sure. Even the meaning is clear. Yes, I got it now. Okay. Well, anyways, so auxiliary verbs. Yeah, we were talking about auxiliary verbs. So auxiliary verbs are basically divided into they are. What are the auxiliary verbs? One is verb to be, verb to do, verb to have. Okay. Now we use these auxiliary verbs in different tenses. Okay, like. For example, let's say in present continuous we use verb to be, right? What is verb to be? It's is, am, are, and the past form is was and were, and the third form is been, right? Or been, let's say. It depends on the accents, how people they pronounce it, you know. So yeah. And then also we have verb to do. Verb to do, we use it in present simple, and we use it in past simple as well, okay? Yeah. So yes. You're welcome, Oda, yes. Now, no, the meaning is super clear, by the way. Okay, so now I got it, yeah. Anyhow, so yeah, here we were saying that verb to have, now verb to do is clear enough, like we use it with main verbs. When we have main verbs, we have to deal with, let's say, verb to do, okay? I'm gonna make it more clear, which is, let me give you some examples, like for verb to be first. When usually we have nouns only in a sentence, we should go with is, am, are. Like if I'm giving any personal, let's say personal information, okay, or asking any personal information, so I go with verb to be. Like for example, I am 22 years old. So I'm giving my, let's say I'm giving an age. This is a personal sentence, right? A personal information. So when you give a personal information, you should use is, am, are, okay? Yes. So if you want to make negative sentences, obviously you just write, you use not, right? You add not to the helping verb, which is not, okay? I am not, or she is not, and so on and so forth, okay? Now for the past, okay, we say the weather was beautiful. So here I'm using adjectives, okay? When you use adjectives and you use let's say nouns in a sentence, we usually go with the verb to be, okay? But if I have, let's say, main verbs in a sentence, let's say for example, I play football every day. Okay, I play football every day. Here I have a main verb. So when you want to make a negative sentence or a question, we need to add a helping verb. We need to bring a helping verb. Here in this case, we are using, or let's say dealing with main verbs. So I have to use, or let's say I have to use verb to do, not verb to be here, okay? Because verb to be only with nouns, but here I have main verbs, so I have to bring verb to do, okay? Let me just read what are you guys saying here. I'm enjoying your class now. Thank you very much. It is not necessary to use by. Well, if you're okay, wait a minute. I hope learning English language professional. How? All right. Now for Uday, I want to tell you that you need to use by, because I enjoy my let's say I speak. Okay. Wait. I'm just trying to get a sentence. For example, I have done all my work by myself. Myself, like I have done my work myself. No, grammatically, what is grammatically correct is by using by, myself, himself, itself. These are reflexive pronouns. They don't come along. They always come after, or let's say before. They come with by. All right. They always come with by. They always come with by. I'm sure about this information, and also we can double check this, and then we can discuss it next class. No problem. Okay, I hope learning English language professional. How? Now Adnan, this is what we're talking about. You need to study or learn. You need to first of all, you need to practice the language. You need to listen a lot. You need to learn the basics first, and then build the basics. Okay, you need to go to the institutions and learn there. Not necessarily like institution. You should have a basics, so you start building up like those basics, and then you need to not just study. You need to practice, because whatever you learn, you have to practice it. If you practice it, they will stick in your mind, and you can use it, because the more often you use in a language, you will understand, or you'll keep it always. Now for example, there are lots of people, they learn, for example, a language when they were young, let's say, and after some time when they stop using it, if you come and ask them, they can't speak. Why? Because they probably forgotten the language. So this is what happens to us, so you need to keep practicing a language, keep practicing, keep on updating, keep on speaking the language. This is the best way. Okay, I have another. Okay, Uday is saying, but not all the time. Maybe there are some exceptions, but usually we use them all the time. Like, could be. I'm not saying that there must be like some exceptions, obviously. But most of the time, or let's say if you're speaking professionally English, or let's say formal English, then you need to use them, I guess. Islam is saying something. I have done my homework alone. Okay, this could be a good sentence as well. All right. So actually, Sam, we were discussing the reflexive pronouns, and we were using them. So I asked the students to write them, or like comment and write a full sentence by using these these reflexive pronouns. But thank you for your sentence as well. All right, let's continue. So we were talking about verbs, so we are probably done with the auxiliary verbs and modals. Yeah, these are the helping verbs, let's say. In the other section, or the other part, is the main verbs. Okay, main verbs, like we use them in simple present. And what are the main verbs? Present, past, and the past participle, right? Three forms. We have three forms of a verb: main verb, present, past, and the third form, which is past participle. And usually we don't use them unless we like later on. We don't use them quite often. We just go over a present and past. Now for present, we have the main form, which is present. It's like normal verbs. You need to learn the tenses, and you need to learn them all, like as all the verbs. You have usually in schools or in institutions, we give you this we give you a list of verbs, and you need to memorize them in present, past, and past participle, right? And we tell you sometimes we also like come up with an idea to tell you when to use which tense, like, right? So the present tense, we usually use it in present tenses, like if you talk in present, then we use these verbs. And the past tense, it always comes in the past, obviously, and in past is in simple, past tense. What else? And past participle, like it has different, like they come in different different grammar, like let's say different tenses. Present and past perfect, and they always come also in sometimes we use them in reported speech, and sometimes we use them, not sometimes, all the time actually. We use them also in passive, present, past, and so on. Yeah, so this is it. This is all about the present, past, and like present, past, and past participle. And we have regular verbs and we have irregular verbs. You need to memorize all these verbs. You need to memorize them and practice them, obviously, with the tenses. Now, what are the main or most important tenses which you really need to or let's say we use them a lot in our daily basis, or like in normal conversation, let's say, or in our daily conversation with people. It's present simple, present continuous, and what else, like present perfect, right? And the past tense as well. Past simple, past perfect, and past perfect, past continuous. Yeah. Okay. What about this tense? This sentence, I myself did the homework. I myself did the homework. Yes, this is correct. Exactly. That's right. We say that. Yes, or they. We say I myself did the homework. Yes. That's a good. Thank you. Thank you. That could be one of a good sentence as an example of like we really use these reflexive pronouns without without, let's say, any any of by or whatsoever, like any of prepositions. Yeah. Okay, so this is it. And let's say, or let's talk about yeah, we've talking about the form. How do we make a sentence, a correct sentence, subject, verb, and object. Now for the objects, like we said that we have like these pronouns. It's either a noun or pronoun, right? And we replace sometimes a noun or pronoun with a noun, so it depends. It depends on how you say the sentence. Anyhow, what is the next topic is about the tenses. Like I'm just gonna give an over, like generally we're gonna talk about the tenses. Like we're gonna go through them quickly. And if you guys have any questions later on about any tense, you can ask me for the next session, all right? About, yeah. Excuse me, Muhammad is saying, why is that? Like, we didn't get your question. This is what? Okay, anyhow. So, sorry, Muhammad, I didn't get your question, so I'm gonna skip it. Okay, so if you just give me a proper question, like if you're asking something properly, then yeah, I would be able to answer. What is this for? What are you trying to tell me? Like, are you just trying to tell us about the questions? Like, generally you're asking about the questions, or what? What is that? Okay, fine. Well, yes. So I was saying that we have present simple tense, which is very important, yes, and we use it when we talk about what? When we talk about our daily routine, about routine, daily activities, facts, what else? Like repetitive action, something you do it every day, right? Like an action which is repetitive, right? Okay. So for the actions which is repetitive, like for example, I wash my face every day. This is something I do it every day, right? Every single day. Yes, thank you. So what we do, thank you, Day. That's a nice presentation. Thanks for the compliment. Um, so yeah, this action is actually happens every day, right? Or let's say it's repetitive. So this is simple present tense. Okay, we use simple present tense to talk about an action which is repetitive. Okay, repetitive, which is on daily basis, let's say, or not necessarily daily basis. It could be every year, every per month. It could be per day. It could be per week. It depends. All right. Yes. I think there is a question. He is just asking about this live subject. Oh, okay. This live subject is about grammar, like how to speak English correctly. Okay, or let's say if sorry, how to speak English fluently and by using grammar. Like mainly we're discussing grammar a lot in this session. Yeah. Does English movies help in learning English? Of course it does. Of course, it teaches you how to speak. Actually, it teaches you. You can learn the accent. Yeah, you can get an accent from them. But I usually, for me, accent is not essential part. What is more important is to speak English correctly. That's it. Like you should learn. That's it. You should get the words. You should. Whenever they speak, even they speaking fast, try to always like get what they're trying to say. And always try to learn without, or try to watch movies without subtitles, because when you look at the subtitles, you probably forget, you don't listen, you just like, you get lazy to listen to them. You just keep reading and so on and so forth, so it's not like really effective. Does English, okay, so yeah, this is it. What else? So English movies really do help, and especially I always tell my students, like my generally like any student, I just tell them to start watching, the animations, because animations are always targeted. Who are it's for kids, basically, not for kids only, but usually they use simple language in it, like not really they don't speak too fast, let's say, or the language is very clear, like Frozen, like Ice Age, like Kung Fu Panda, for example. Like these kind of good movies, watch them. They're funny. I mean, they're funny and nice at the same time, and adults can also watch them, so it's fine. Yeah, so watch them, and you will find a difference. Like they speak in a very they don't speak that fast. I mean, they don't speak very fast, and their language is very clear, because children are the target, so they always make it simple sometimes. Yeah. Okay, so yeah, this is it. So again, let's get back to our main topic, which is simple present tense. So we said that we use it when we talk about an action which is repetitive, and repetitive, yes, and obviously it comes with a daily routine as well. uh, okay, I'm just gonna, last time I think we discussed our daily routine, so today I'm gonna tell you a little bit like how do we make sentences. So sentence in simple present, so whenever you make your sentence, you make it correct. Yes, no, it's more than important to listen up with subtitles. um, well, maybe this is effective for you, but usually it's not, because whenever I tell you why, because can you suggest any, please? Okay, suggest any what movie, or you want me to suggest you any tips? Okay, for a tip, let me just give you both. For tips, I would say, for me, or what in my perspective, what I think it's more effective. What is the effective way of learning English if you really want to watch a movie? Watch, but without subtitles. Watch without subtitles, because when you read subtitles, you probably forget. I mean, you don't focus on on listening. Like you don't care what are they saying. It's just like, oh, I want to read and I want to understand the movie, and that's it. You got my point? So this is it. This is what happens. So maybe it can distract your your listening, let's say, skill. Can you suggest any okay, as I've told you, I've recently watched Iron. Maybe it's, yeah, I think Iron. um it's really nice movie. I personally liked it. Iron, Iron. Yes. And watch, what else, like I've seen recently, imagine yourself listening to Chinese without subtitles for about 10 years. Well, that's a different thing. That's a different thing. Now, we are not familiar with that language, not even like 1%. So that's different case at all. But when I say, okay, but that's like, see, I'm talking to you as someone who already has basics, who already have some, you know, good skills in listening, and who wants to improve it. Yeah, so if you want to improve it, then it's better not to. Okay, I want IELTS overall band 7. Can you help me? Yes, sure. Our institution can definitely help you in that. And I'm sure they'll contact you sometime very soon. But Basim, right? Basim Ismail. Okay, definitely they'll help you in that. We have experts in IELTS. Yes. Sam is asking this question: how can I develop myself in listening? Okay. How can you develop yourself? Like as I've told you, you need to listen to more. We have videos on YouTube, like you can get to them. You can keep listening English. Listen to listen to English songs, okay, and try to read the lyrics as well, okay. So you can improve your listening and your reading skill, okay. I mean, you can guess what they're saying actually. So this can be one of the ways. Yes, one of ways you can say. Okay, if I'm saying, for example, to take some notes from someone who speaks fast for me. Okay, now, as I've told you, you need to practice whatever you learn, whatever you listen. It's not just you listen and then that's it. No. It's like whatever you listen, try to note down some, like, very, you know, if you get attracted to any of sentences, or let's say any of let's say phrase or idioms or anything which attracts you, or let's say it takes like, you know, attracts you. Usually what I used to do is, like, I used to note them and then I used to practice them, you know, like as an English teacher we do that as well. Trust me, we do that. Yes, like for example, if we liked an idiom, I just note it down quickly and I start practicing it, like saying it to my students, saying it to my friends, and so on and so forth. Okay, so this is one of the ways you can learn, and then obviously you will keep having it in your mind. It will be like saved. Yes. Okay. Now, yes, subtitles could distract the listeners, yes, but they are very helpful. Well, it can be, but if of course it does, but if that thing doesn't distract you, you know, if it depends on the person himself. Like if he can manage it, then yeah, why not? If you can manage like both listening and subtitle at the same time, then yeah, of course. But for me, I think it's not effective. For me personally, it doesn't work unless I'm watching, for example, Chinese movie, as if like you mentioned earlier. Yeah, then I need a subtitle, of course. Yeah. All right. So yeah, this is it. Let's say about this is how we just mentioned the you know, generally we talked about these grammar and like how to make a sentence. Again, I'm just gonna, you know, like repeat what we've done in this session: subject, verb, and object. Yeah, this is how we make a sentence. And then we talked about pronouns, different pronouns, and I've mentioned like about 5 pronouns, types of pronouns, right? And then we have we've said that we have obviously we talked about the verbs, and then we said that we have like helping verbs, and then we have main verbs and tenses, and obviously we use them in different tenses as well. And the last thing we stopped at, it was the simple present tense, right? And the usage of it and how we make the sentence. Like, I'm gonna just tell you quickly because I think this we need to end up this class in like 15 minutes, I guess. Yeah, so I need to just go through that quickly. So yeah, as I've told you, it's okay, subject, verb, and object, the same form of a sentence as usual. Okay, so what we do here, we have subject, right? Now, what subject we have? He, she, it. Like I'm gonna tell you with the pronouns: he, she, it, they, we, you, and I. Okay. Now you need to note this thing, that with singular subject, not singular noun. Let's say, no, I'm talking like singular. If the subject is singular, okay, so subject, not, let's say, not the nouns or whatsoever. We're not dealing with nouns here. We're dealing with subject, okay? So if the subject, which is subject, it can be either noun or it can be a pronoun. If it relates or if it indicates that it's singular, okay, then we have to add s to the verb, okay? For example, she sleeps, he eats, it goes, and so on and so forth, okay? But if the subject was they, we, you, and I, then in that case we have to make the verb base. We do not add anything to it, okay? We say I eat, they eat, we eat, and so on. What is your question? What is the meaning of the auxiliary do in the sentence I do understand, I don't understand you? What is the meaning of auxiliary verbs? Auxiliary verbs are more like helping verbs in a sentence. They, like, for example, there are some sentences they can't stand alone. Like, for example, we need to use these helping verbs to make the sentence grammatically correct, okay? For example, when I say I 22, do you understand this sentence? Of course not. So in this sentence we do not have any verb, so I need to bring a helping verb, which is an auxiliary verb, and that auxiliary verb is am, actually. I am 22, right? So this is what I mean. So these are auxiliary verbs, and we usually make these auxiliary verbs negative. I mean, we add not to them, and we usually ask with these auxiliary verbs. They have, they're very important to be used in tenses. Okay. Okay. What is the next question? Abu Tarad is asking, when is your next class? Next class, we will definitely we will tell you a day before. I think we'll post it on the group, and we'll tell you the timing, and yeah, we'll probably tell you the day and timing as well. Yes. Yeah, so hopefully it was clear to you that auxiliary verbs, we use them only when we in, as I've told you before, that we use is, am, are mainly. Like, what are the auxiliary verbs? Verb to be, verb to do, and verb to have. These three are auxiliary verbs. What about Ali, Said, and Maha? Are okay, you're saying Ali, Said, and Maha are good friends, let's say. We can't say Ali, Said, and Maha is good friend, okay? So because they all are, like, first, let's say Ali, Said, and Maha, they are second, no, they're third person basically. I am 22, I am here is not an auxiliary verb. What? I'm sorry, I'm not getting you. I am 22, am here is not an auxiliary verb. It is a helping verb. It's is, am, are is an auxiliary verb, Oday. Because verb to be, verb to do, verb to have, they all are auxiliary verbs, right? And we use them in tense, in tenses. So I am 22, this is a personal information. It can be simple present tense. Okay. When you say, for example, tell me, okay, what about this sentence? I am married. Imagine I say I married. Do you think this is a complete sentence? No. So we need to use a helping verb here, which is auxiliary verb. Is, am, are auxiliary verbs. Okay. So before we end up this class, because I think it's the time to end this class. So before we end this class, I hope you liked the class and, let's say, enjoyed it. for the next time, I think we will bring you better topic, let's say, and we will continue with the tenses, because as I've mentioned, like I didn't complete the whole tenses. We just talked about present simple, and we'll talk about present continuous, present perfect, and many more tenses and future as well. Yes, Oday, please tell me, share your okay. It is a main verb. Okay, so Oday is telling me here that it is a main verb. Well, okay, it can be a main verb, but we can make it negative and we can make it question, right? We can make it negative, and we can make it also question. I mean, we use it in questions, and we make it negative as well, right? As long as it's a sentence, all right, because it's in a positive sentence. Let's say it's in a positive sentence, okay? As long as it's in a positive sentence, it could be, but it is actually an auxiliary verb. All right. Thank you very much, Mr. Abu Turad. Anyway, I'm just going to end up this class. Thank you very much, guys, for like attending it. The people who attended this class. Okay, but before I leave, let me just see Oday's comment. He's saying, "I was a teacher. Is here an auxiliary verb?" Okay. I got you. So here you're trying to say, because we have a main verb, playing, which is, you know, present continuous. So here we used was as an auxiliary verb, and in there I was a teacher, because we did not use yes, it is a main verb. I'm not saying it's not a main verb here, but actually it is an auxiliary verb. You got my point? But here, yes, you're right. But yes, when he said I was playing, because we had main verb, which is playing, then we used was as an auxiliary verb. Clear. How can I speak English quickly as you? Shuruk, you need to be a very, like, okay, you need to practice again. For the first time, like, you will be like slow. This is normal, and by time, but you need to practice. Practice is the key. I always tell the students, practice is the key. Be confident. Never feel hesitated to learn in any language. Like, don't be hesitated. Don't feel shy when you come to speak any language. Even like people, I've known that lots of people, they know English, maybe they have lots of words, and they know how to make correct sentences. They know how to speak English very well. But where's the problem, or where they face problems in, they have maybe, let's say, lack of confidence, or let's say they're not they're not confident, they feel shy to speak up, or they hesitate. So I always tell the students, like, no, you need to break the ice, and you need to always just speak confidently. Honestly speaking, be confident, and never hesitate. And we all do mistakes, like it's normal, because it's a language. We all are, we're not natives. We all are not natives, so it's normal to make mistakes. Nobody laughs at anyone. It's just like, speak whatever you know, whatever you can, just speak up, and this is how you're gonna learn. And if somebody corrects you, it's okay. No, like, take it easily, and be proud that, yeah, okay, this person is teaching me, or this person's correcting me, and this is how I'm gonna learn. Some people, they don't like it, but yeah, no, this is best. If you have a lack of confidence, no, you should speak up. Like, don't care about anyone. Thank you. Thank you. Well, I got you now. I got what you are trying to tell me. Yes, it's you are correct. Yes, you're right, actually. Yes. Okay. See, here I tell you that it is not important, but if you speak with a grammar, then it's perfect, Like, if you speak English correctly, why not? Yeah, grammar is not the key, but there are some basics. You need to know them, you know. If you don't know these basics, then it's like you'll be like always confused, or you'll be like, okay, why this sentence was like that, or why that sentence was like that. So you need to know the basics at least. Yeah. Yes, I teach students. Yes, and also I come like online, live as well. Yeah. All right. Anyway, guys, like thank you very much for attending this class, for the students who were interactive in this session. I really I'm super thankful for them, and I'll hopefully see the same students like next time, because it was a good debate, and like we discussed too many things, and I felt like yes, you guys are you're into the class. So thank you very much, and hopefully to see you next session. And we will definitely tell all the students, like we'll post or drop a comment, or let's say we'll announce that in the group, like when is going to be the next class. And hope to see you all, and happy Ramadan again, and thank you very much, and have a really good night.